cliffhanger. I don't know what this was supposed to be, but anyways, so yeah, I'm back again, and after a very long time, I'm here to vlog on episode 3 of Death Note, Dealings, in which the police start to close in on their investigation of Light, and L starts to suspect that, Kira might be a student, and things start to get more intense. Yeah, so, I don't know, I guess, for me, I feel like this episode was more or less kind of a filler, just kind of like trying to bridge the gap between, like, when Light starts off, and when the police start to get more and more suspicious of Light, and their investigation really starts to kind of heat up a little bit. But I like the development for the most part, in this episode. I like to get to see a little bit more of L and kind of like how his mind works. Something that kind of confused me about this episode, I guess, well, not just this episode, just kind of like Light's strategy, like, in general, is that, like, it's clear, like, he wants the police to start to suspect, at least, kind of, like, start to suspect him a little bit, so that he can get close to L, but at the same time, he seems, like, almost overly confident that they're not going to catch him, even though I kind of thought that's what he wants. I don't know, like, it seems a little bit contradictory to me that he kind of seems to go back and forth between trying to get the police to kind of, like, lure him into, like, investigate a little more, but at the same time being like, no, like, I'm fine, like, they're not gonna suspect me. So, I don't know, like, I found that a little confusing, and, I don't know, I feel like, especially because, like, with his strategy of, like, only killing people off at certain times during the weekdays, and then his schedule getting a little more varied during the holidays and weekends. Like, if he was trying to, like, not be suspicious, wouldn't he kind of, like, expect them to suspect that it was a student? So, I don't know, like, that just kind of, like, seemed confusing. Like, he seems, like, confident they're not going to catch him, but at the same time kind of, like, giving them clues as to who he is, and I don't know, like, I always just found that a little bit confusing, but it's still really fun to watch. Light is just such a devious little shit, and I love watching him. Another thing that I always kind of wondered, like, was trying to figure out when exactly, like, at what point specifically does Light's dad kind of start to suspect that he might be Kira. And I feel like this episode might be it. There are definitely clues that his dad does suspect him, especially when, L kind of says, like, hey, like, this guy might be a student, and then you see Light's dad kind of, like, look a little freaked out at that. So, I think this episode might be it. I feel like there are more points later on, where he might start to suspect him, but I feel like this episode specifically, especially the way that he talks to Light at the dinner table, he's kind of like, so, how was your day? Do anything interesting? And you tell he's kind of like trying to get something out of him. Yeah, I love the character of Light's dad. You feel really bad for him that he's, like, stuck in this situation of having to investigate this person who might be his own kid, and the kind of pain that it puts on him, even though you don't really see any of that directly. You just kind of, like, suspect throughout the episodes that he might start to be figuring out who his son really is, and it's really heartbreaking to watch. Probably my favorite part of this episode was just this montage, this brief montage of, like, at school, he's, like, playing soccer with his friends, cutting back and forth to, like, shots of people dying in prisons and stuff, like, then there's just, like, this dramatic, like, choir music playing over it, and it's just so, like, over the top and cheesy, and I love it. Like, I always find that, like, anime tends to be, like, over the top with that stuff, but it's so entertaining, like, it's just so entertainingly over the top, you just can't help but love it. And especially, like, the animation, specifically during that montage of, like, you get some pretty, like, chilling shots of, like, these up-close shots of, like, the criminals' faces that are dying and, like, having heart attacks in prison, and it gets pretty, like, it would be a little chilling if it wasn't, like, ridiculously over the top and constantly cutting back and forth, just, like, shots of, like, just, like, sitting at school, like, it's actually kind of funny, in that context when you have all this other stuff going on. But yeah, no, I just love that montage. I just go back and watch that because I just find it really funny, and also because I'm weird, and I don't know. Just briefly to wrap this one up, I'll just talk about the ending, which is a cliffhanger because we find out that Shinigami can see the names of people, of anybody. They can see their names and their lifespan, and he can grant that power to Light, but Light has to give up half of his remaining lifespan, and it, on one hand, obviously, yeah, that sucks because you have less time to live, but on the other hand, there's this guy that's stalking him, not very discreetly stalking him. He's like the, you know, typical, like, guy in a trench coat, like, stalking a guy in the shadows, and, like, you know, like, if you're trying to stalk somebody, like, you might want to be a little more discreet, like, not, like, I don't know, anyways. And, yeah, I just love how creepy Ryu gets at that scene. Like, you see, like, his eyes just go, like, completely red instead of, like, the, like, mix of, like, yellow and red. It's just how his eyes go all red. It's so creepy, and, like, the music, like, starts to build up as he's explaining this. And even though, yeah, it's a lot of exposition, a lot of explaining, which is one pet peeve that I do have with the series, is that there's so many rules in, like, this world they have to explain, and it does get a little, like, tedious to watch after a while, but, like, I just love the way they do it in this thing because they just make it so, like, the atmosphere of the scene is just so creepy, and, like, you don't feel bored while watching. It's just so entertaining, and I don't know, like, I just really love that ending, and it looks like he's giving Light his choice, and we'll see what he decides to do, even though like I said, I've already watched half the series, so I know what he ultimately decides to do, but yeah, this series is just, oh my god, I'm just rambling right now, but anyways, so yeah, I guess can't remember if I did ratings on the previous 2 episodes, but I guess I can start doing it now. Guess I'd give this episode like a 7 out of 10. Like I said, it's kind of a filler episode, just kind of like bridging the gap between different plot points, but it's very entertaining. I love the characters, and this good series. Yeah, really good. So yeah, that's my vlog, and I will see you guys next episode. Bye!